We often don't realize that we are the key to our own happiness, and that happiness starts with healing and transformation. Whether you need healing, guidance, clarity, understanding, or just some honest sister talk to feel connected, heard, and supported, you are welcome and safe here. So join the conversation and be healed. Welcome to Soul Healing Conversations with your host, Roz Kincaid.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm Roz Kincaid, and welcome again to Soul Healing Conversations. I'm so excited to have you all join me for my first episode. My heart is pounding out of your girl's chest. Yes, it is. Oh, we're here. We're finally here. And thank you once again. You guys be sure to check me out at rozkincaid.com and at Soul Healing with Roz on Facebook and Instagram. I also want to give a shout out first and foremost to Voice America Talk Radio for giving me this opportunity to connect with everybody around the world. I also need to give a shout out to Emily at Shine Coaching and Consulting. She is our sponsor for the show today. Today is our first episode, and I wanted to give you all a little bit of a glimpse into my life, introduce myself, let you know who I am, and kind of, tell you how this is going to roll for the next however long it rolls. And so this show is going to be about connecting and inspiring you to healing, to transformation, to opening you up to higher perspectives. There's going to be a variety of topics being talked about on this show, and it's my prayer that you all will be able to find peace and healing and transformation, or whatever it is that you need. If you need a good laugh, you'll find one at some point at this show. So enjoy, and again, I thank you all for being here. So. A little bit about myself. I am a healer. I am an intuitive. My journey to getting to that destination, which is really not a destination, is not like many others. I have not been in this business for 20 years, but to spirit, that does not matter. To spirit, what matters is that you're a willing vessel, you're an open vessel, and that you want your light to be shown in the darkness. So, and that's what I've done. So let's rewind the tape just a little bit, just to give you a little bit of a foundation. Listen, I grew up in the church. My parents took me to church every Sunday. I went to Vacation Bible School. I loved it. It's where I made connections with long-term friends. It's where I got my foundation for not only religion, but spirituality. And so if you hear me refer to God is my source. God is who is the point of reference for me for all spirituality. And to me, he's a him, a he. If you want to refer to him as a she or whatever, do whatever works for you. But if you hear me refer to God as him, just, take it how it resonates. So yeah, I grew up in the church. In the AME church, which is kind of like Baptist, but not really. So I do have a bit of a heavy religious background, but as I grew into adulthood, I moved away from that, and I kind of found my own way. Still connected to my source, but really just kind of found my own way. But I am thankful to my parents and my grandparents and all of my family for giving me that foundation, because it set me up really, really nicely for a strong connection to the spiritual world, and gave me some experience that has helped me to help other people find their own way in their own way. So that being said, after high school, went on to college, attended NC State, go Pack, and found myself through a series of friendships and relationships that really tested me, really helped me to define my boundaries, really helped to define my belief system about who I was. But what I wasn't expecting is to find myself in some dark places at times. Along the way, my parents did split up. My mom and my dad parted ways. There was, without giving too much of my mother's story, there was infidelity in our household, and my mother did what she had to do for her and her girls, and so that mimicked a pattern that I often found myself in relationships. And where does that come into play is that I learned how to heal from that. I learned how to go back to that example and tie that to a lot of behaviors and patterns that I would display in and throughout relationships for me. And I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I know I'm not alone in this. So, like I said, throughout college and even after college, I found myself through a series of bad relationships, but I overcame them all, just like you can and you have. Um, and then from college, I moved to the Northern Virginia area to start my life over from a very bad breakup. Now, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and front and act like it wasn't hard to leave an abusive relationship. It was, y'all. I even went back. I even went back to the relationship, knowing what I knew about the person, about the dynamic, and about the relationship, and even about myself. I guess I wasn't finished learning, right? And so finally, the last straw was me finding out that he wasn't being faithful. And then to not to put judgment on myself or to put judgment on him, but what was I expecting having a long distance relationship to somebody who already proved to me that they weren't going to be faithful. So lesson learned. That's all it is. You know, when you go through these hard times in life, is not to you're not supposed to collect them as daggers to stab yourself with. They're lessons to be learned to carry the lesson forward and to integrate it so that you can make better informed decisions down the road. So once again, at that point, I'm a single lady. I'm, getting my roots, finding out what it is I like, what I don't like. And I land on my feet. Um, and I start to take care of myself and get my own apartment, just start to rebuild my life pretty much. And I hit a lot of different challenges. I struggled with, I'm not gonna call it drug abuse, but recreational drug use, and I used that as a crutch to really get myself over the hump. And then one September, I get a phone call as I'm leaving work, and it's from my sister. um, and she tells me that my dad passes. Now, mind you, my dad was a struggling addict. He was a prison guard, so imagine some of the tension that he brought home. Um, at times we would have fun. Sometimes it would be scary, and sometimes I would just exit the room when he came home. But he was still my dad. He was still my daddy, and I had a soft spot for him. But that is where that relationship is what taught me to have boundaries with people who struggled with abuse. That I could not let them. I had to hold them accountable, and I was going to hold him accountable as when he walked this earth through his addiction, because I loved him, right? And I just didn't want him to continue um, lying to himself or living a lie through his abuse. I wanted him to get it. So I get a phone call from my sister one day after work, and she tells me that my dad passes. And I didn't expect myself to react the way that I did to his passing. But I did. I just fell to my knees. But the good thing about that was that I knew that I had found reconciliation with my dad. And I also felt like he found reconciliation too, because, there were other children involved, and it seemed to be that I was the only one willing to give him a second chance because he needed it, he needed it. And to me, everybody deserves a second chance, right? Like when people, but I also believe that when people show you who they are, you sit up and pay attention. You pay attention to that, right? And so that gives you And that gives you the data, I guess you would say. That gives you the information to make an informed decision about how and if you want to move forward in relationship with. And so I chose to with my dad. So after that, um, I did the very thing that he taught me to do. I turned to I used alcohol and drugs, but not heavily. I don't want y'all out here thinking I'm an addict or anything like that. It's not like that. But I did. I used alcohol and drugs as a crutch to get me through my grief, which is not, to me really wasn't a healthy thing to do. So pulled myself together over some years, got back into the church because I had fallen out over the years through the bad breakups and through the death of my dad. Reconnected with the church, got real heavily into the church, joined, became a member, started to participate in a lot of ministries. And I'm single at this point, vowed that I would just, I'm gonna stay single for God until he sends me the right one. Y'all know how it is. And so round about 2008 enters my husband, who I didn't think was my husband. And it's funny that because my aunt kept trying to force him on me, I'm like, I don't want him. Number one, his steps are too loud. But God had to highlight him in a loud, colorful suit in order for me to be able to recognize him and to pay attention to him, because I knew that relationship, later I figured out that relationship was to be destined, because, yeah, you got to be a real strong man to handle this fire. So with that being said, I met my husband at church. And we were heavy churchgoers, and it was funny. I had been out of the game, quote unquote, to notice that he was actually flirting with me, y'all. And so we married. We, in so many terms, eloped, and we didn't really tell anybody. We didn't tell anybody that we was married because, I think I can speak for him, because we both were feeling the judgment that sometimes comes with religion. I'm not going to blame the church altogether. I'm just going to say that there's some judgments that come from religion. And this isn't to bash the church or bash anybody in the church or bash religion, because again, my foundation comes from that religion. But there's some judgment that comes, you don't want to be shagging, or, you ought not get married until don't get married, don't live together until you're married, all of that. So we had that judgment on top of us and around us. And so we just kept secret about our marriage because, one, he's private. And then two, I didn't want to deal with the judgment. I could already hear the judgment in my mind. My ego was already attacking me about the choice that I had made. So, yeah, we kept it a secret for a couple months. But come to find out, everyone was happy for us. And we saved a lot of money because we didn't have a wedding and we could put that into a house. So if anybody's thinking about getting married and saving some money, do what you need to do. Do what works for you. And that's the other thing. In relationships, you have to do what is best for you. Nobody can tell you nobody can take care of you better than you. So think about that when you are in relationships, about to, take your relationship to the next level. It's always you. It always comes back to you and what you need and what you believe about you or the other person. And if you don't feel good about what is happening or how things are progressing in a relationship, then you get to decide to cut it off or to step away or to change it. Right? So, yeah, Trey and I, we struggled in the beginning. I didn't know my husband very much at all. We married quickly. And so we found ourselves in a situation where we were learning each other, getting to know each other as a married couple. And that's the other thing, is that was the other lesson. I really didn't give myself time to know him well enough to, commit to him. But I knew that it was my need to want to be stable and committed that drew me to him. Right. And so, and and if you ask him, anybody see him on the street, would you ever meet him? He was listening to his own intuition about the marriage, about the relationship. him not wanting to be married again because he was previously married, really, really was weighing on him. But there was a voice in him that says, no, this is going to be something great. And so it still is, it's a work in progress. It always is. So we struggle with marriage and getting to know each other, not just cohabitating, but compromising. Compromising and setting boundaries, and issues with codependence, and masking trauma from the past that you bring to the table, and that shit not popping up until you years on down the road, and you looking at the other person like, what's wrong with you? Like, I didn't know this about you until now. Like, why didn't you tell me this? And so having to work through all of that really really opened up my eyes to the value in letting spirit's timing be what it is, if you know what I mean. And just listening to your inner guidance system, if you know what I mean. And just not being in such a hurry to get to a destination that you miss out on the journey. And how can I say? And passing through all of the valuable lessons that you'll end up having to turn around and figure them out at some point. And it's just better to slow down. We just came out of Mercury retrograde, right? We're in that shadow period, and Mercury retrograde lesson to us is to slow it down. Slow down. You got to slow down. You're not going to miss anything. And that was my fear with jumping into a marriage that turned out to be wonderful. Does it have its ups and downs? Yeah, that's any relationship. But you have to slow down and not get into this rush for fear that you're going to miss something. You're not going to miss anything, because what is for you is waiting for you, and what you want you. That's always the case. It's a matter of preparation. It's a matter of timing. Having to get it all set up and ready. I hope this is all making sense. But that was the lesson in me moving forward and becoming a Mrs. and no longer a Miss. And so through it all, once we decided to expand our family, we ran into a few hurdles. And at that point, that is where the game changed for me. That is where the game changed for me, and all types of issues started to pop up about my value system, my self-worth. My struggles with depression started to creep up once we decided to expand our family. And once again, we had to just put it all in Spirit's hands. And it grew my faith. That struggle with fertility that I'm going to talk about, we got a break coming up. I'm going to talk about that on the other side of the break here in just a few minutes. That struggle with fertility opened up my faith, and it was a proving ground for whether I was going to believe the vision that I had in my mind, or if I was going to pay attention to the details to get to that vision. Was I going to pay attention to the micro or the macro? And I'm going to talk more about that as soon as we come back from this break.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You have a passion, and from that passion, you've created a business. But how do you market and grow that business? Hi, I'm Emily of Shine Coaching and Consulting. I specialize in brand identity, website design, marketing consulting, and business coaching. I create a visual expression of my clients' ideas and help them develop a business strategy to meet their goals. Connect with me today at shinecoachingandconsulting.com. Be inspired, be real, be you.
The Voice America Live Events channel is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com. Voice America is where you are and where you want to be. Join us around the globe as we broadcast live from some of the most interesting events available. Don't forget to view all our live events, including on-demand access to past events that you may have missed by visiting voiceamerica.com/live events.
We're making it easier to listen to the Voice America Talk Radio Network wherever you go. In addition to listening live, you can check out information about your favorite talk show hosts, discover new talk show personalities, add shows to your list of favorites, and listen to all of our show archives on demand, all from your iOS, Amazon Kindle, or Android device. Download it from the Apple App Store, Amazon, or Google Play, and get ready to tune in. The Voice America mobile app, powered by Aircast.
Stimulating talk
gets those synapses in the brain firing really fast.
all the time. The #1 internet talk station where your opinion counts. VoiceAmerica.com.
You are tuned in to Soul Healing Conversations. If you would like to reach Roz Kincaid or her guest today, please call into the program at 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. You may also send an email to hello@rozkincaid.com. Now, back to Soul Healing Conversations.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You are listening to Soul Healing Conversations. I'm your host, Roz Kincaid, and I am sharing my story today. Today is my first episode, and I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to get to know me. And so before the break, I was talking about, I was sharing with you all my story about the struggles that my husband and I were dealing with our fertility, which really was the segue or the Pandora's box that opened up my spiritual transformation, my healing, actually. So my husband and I, we decided, maybe our daughter's 3 now, 5 years ago, that we wanted to go down the path of having a baby. Simple enough, right? I mean, you know, we're young enough to have babies. We thought we were healthy enough to have babies. I mean, you know, and so we try on our own, not happening. I start to feel like a complete failure as a woman because my body is not doing what it needs, what I needed to do. It's not producing what I needed to produce. My hormones aren't doing what I needed to do, or it's doing what I needed to do, but it's not doing it at a high enough level to get what I want, right? But all the while, even though, man, I go back and forth between this state of depression and loss and grief every month I get, you know, I get in this place where it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And right before the next cycle, okay, here we go. I ramp up, I rally back. And it was a roller coaster. God knows it was a roller coaster of highs and lows. And eventually we sought out some extra help. And for those of you who are trying to have a baby, your first, well, I don't care if it's your first baby or your 5th baby, there is nothing wrong with going to get some help. There's nothing wrong with asking a professional for some help, whether it's a fertility specialist or your reproductive endocrinologist or your gynecologist or your healing practitioner. If you need help, don't say something. Raise your hand. Just like they say, you see a suspicious package, you see something, say something. If you need help, raise your hand. There's no shame in getting help. especially for us women who want to have a family, who want to have a legacy on this earth, who know in their heart of hearts that there is energy, there is spirit, there's a new spirit or a baby that wants to come and have this human experience with you. There's nothing wrong with that. And so my husband and I, we started down the path of IUI, insemination. We did the typical 3 rounds, didn't work. And here I go back again through this roller coaster of emotions, of depression, anxiety, and, it's not going to happen. I'm calling my friend. I'm like, oh, what'd you do? Listen, it's going to happen. Every time I would go through a cycle, Spirit, God would send me some sign of hope, whether it was seeing 3 pregnant women pass me in the hallway. I would take that as a sign that, okay, the dream is still real. Keep hope alive. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And see, that's the thing, you guys. You cannot allow what is going on externally in your life to throw you off track from the goal. If you allow yourself to get distracted from what's going on externally, you're going to take your eye off the ball and you'll never get there. You have to stay focused on what it is that the Spirit has shown you is going to be, is going to come. You cannot look at the outside and judge what is going to happen, because life is dynamic. Life is always changing. Life is always evolving. The pieces on the chessboard are always moving, y'all. Always. And so you can't judge by everything swirling and moving around. You got to stay focused on the vision. You got to stay focused on the goal. And so it wasn't easy for me to do that. And I'm not telling you that this shit is going to be cupcake and rainbows and icing and all of that stuff. It's going to be hard, but you can handle it. And it's not made to be easy, because you got to go through that to be made. No diamond is made just from grabbing it right out of the ground like a carrot. I mean, come on. It has to undergo pressure. It has to be broken. It has to go through a transformation, all of that. And that's what this experience was for me. So we stepped back. My body needed a break. I needed a break from the monitoring, from the shots, from all of it. And we took about a year off and just relaxed and enjoyed life. And I focused on my health and us being in a good place in our relationship, working on things that we didn't take the opportunity to work on when we first got married. And we took a step back and we got it straight as much as we possibly could. So we started back up again in 2016? Yeah, 2016. And we went more aggressively with in vitro IVF. Shout out to Shady Grove. We went through Shady Grove, and I was willing to do whatever it took to have this baby that I saw, to have this baby whose name I already knew. I had her name picked out a year before, right? So I knew she was coming. And before I knew I had some type of a intuitive or psychic gift or mediumship gift, quite honestly, y'all, I could hear her, but I was denying myself and, brushing it off as, it's me. It's my voice. It's me making it up. Nope. So we did 1 round of IVF. And the crazy thing about it is the day that we transferred the embryo, my aunt had passed a couple of days. And what you guys don't know is that my aunt was like heavy into psychics and mediums. I mean, I never knew her to be a practicing one, but she loved John Edward and she followed him. And so that interest sparked something in me. And when she passed away, the day that she passed away, I looked out my window and saw a red cardinal. Now, by this time, I am curious myself about, psychic mediumship because it's taboo in where I come from. You don't talk about that stuff, even though, you got the pastor sitting up here, getting messages and information to give to the flock, but, I can't do it. Another conversation for another day. But we pursued IVF. And all the while I'm having psychic experiences, not knowing that I'm having psychic experiences or experiences with spirit until I end up going to a group reading with some friends. And like I've always been fascinated in like how do they do that? How can they just connect like that and just know stuff about you and know stuff about people who are on the other side. And it was just fascinating to me. And I posted on Instagram the other day that, curiosity didn't kill the cat, but it damn sure made me go down a rabbit hole that I didn't know that I would find myself in. So let me bring this back to the fertility situation, because the fertility issues were only the trigger, if you want to call it that. They're only the trigger to me finding out my spiritual gifts. Went to a reading and was so fascinated. I actually hosted a party at my home, and a cousin of mine who was pregnant at the time, she and I are both the same age, and having looked at her journey, I wanted her experience to be my experience, and so God will orchestrate experiences, our pregnancy journeys, in such a way that He would allow me to watch her through her pregnancy journey. And it was meant to increase my faith, but my ego took control. And I have to be honest and say there was some jealousy there, because I wanted her experience to be my experience. I wanted a baby too. And your ego said, well, she's living your life, but that's not the truth. She is to be an example for what is about to come. She is to be an example of the faith that you need to have in order to have what you want. So she comes to the party, and I talked to her about, what's going on. And she says, why don't you try Reiki? I'm like, I've seen and heard about Reiki, but I don't know what it is. And I'm not really interested in needles at this point, because I'm good on needles. I've had enough of needles. And she was like, I don't think it has anything to do with needles. She said, but my friend was, pursuing acupuncture and Reiki, and, and I think you should really check it out. But the coincidental things, and there are really no coincidences, when I would go get massages, my masseuse kept a book, and it would just say Reiki on it. And every time I would lay down or get up from the table, my eye would be drawn to that book. So see, Spirit was already calling me to healing work, whether I was receiving it or to be giving it at some point. They were already calling me to it. It was already there. The call was already put out. And they used this fertility issue to get me there. So I before we had our last, and I know I'm kind of all over the place with the story, but before we had our started down the road of IVF, I went to go see a Reiki practitioner who was local to the Manassas, Virginia area, and who, by the way, is going to be a guest on the show very soon. She would talk to me about energy. She would talk to me about Reiki. She would introduce me to concepts about the angelic realm. She dished out cards, and she was just so fascinating to me. And come to find out, she and I are in some ways connected from our hometowns. Our people knew our people. So I would go to her. I think I went to her maybe 9 times. And the first time that she put her hands on me, she immediately picked up that I was very protective of my sacral area, the area where we create, the area where, where if you have experienced any abuse any sexual abuse, any sexual trauma, that is where that energy is going to live. And such was the case for me as when I was a child. And she picked up on all of that. And little by little, over time, I would let go. I would allow her into my energy, couple that with Western, modern medicine and technology. And that first IVF treatment, y'all, it took one IVF treatment and a lot of Reiki, a lot of energy healing. See, not only did my body needed to be healed, but my energy needed to be healed. Because whether you know it or not, your body is the last thing that's getting the message, and your body becomes a one big symptom of what's going on in your energy, in your aura, in your chakras, in your subtle bodies, right? And so once I got my energy cleaned up and straight, it was in a position to be able to receive, to carry and nurture new energy, to bring forth new energy. And so we took a trip to Jamaica. I couldn't do nothing because I couldn't drink. I couldn't do anything because they pretend you're pregnant. You need to conduct your life as if you're pregnant once you take, do the IVF and you do the transfer. So went to Jamaica, had fun, but, being precautious. We get back from Jamaica. I don't know if my mom knows this, but the day of her birthday, June 9th, I found out I was pregnant. The dream came true. The dream came true. My energy I was healed. To me, I was healed. And I was going to be a mama. I was excited. I was elated. But, can't really say anything because you want to make sure that, everything is safe and, baby is okay. You want to get, past a certain point. But she suggested to me, and I continue to go get Reiki treatments even after I found out that I was pregnant, because, I wanted to maintain, you'll find out that Reiki is a cumulative modality. You just don't hit it and quit it. You need to add on and let it build. There's a lot of layers on top of you that need attention. And one time is great, but it's not going to sustain you. It's not meant to sustain you, right? And so she would suggest to me every time I go see her, you should really think about learning how to do Reiki. It'd be good for you. It'd be good for the baby. You'll be able to, if she's ever colicky or has any digestive issues, as some babies do, or, she can't sleep or whatever the case may be, you will be empowered to heal your own baby. She had me sold. She had me sold on heal your own, because me being the independent woman that I am, I want to do things on my own. Teach me how to fish. Don't go get it for me, because that empowers me. That makes me feel like I'm doing something for myself. Okay. And so we're almost here at a break again. When we come back from this break, I will get into how Reiki led into psychic mediumship and on and on and on. And we'll try to take a few questions if we have any too in the next segment. Back after this.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You have a passion, and from that passion, you've created a business. But how do you market and grow that business? Hi, I'm Emily of Shine Coaching and Consulting. I specialize in brand identity, website design, marketing consulting, and business coaching. I create a visual expression of my clients' ideas and help them develop a business strategy to meet their goals. Connect with me today at shinecoachingandconsulting.com. Be inspired, be real, be you.
Follow the Voice America Variety channel on Twitter. Our hosts always have something to say, and we know that you do too. We tweet on today's hot topics, and you're welcome to follow us. Speak up and join in at Voice AM Variety. That's at Voice AM Variety. Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
Are you finding your frequency? It can be described as that space between failure and success. It's the future of digital media. It's finding your voice. It's engaging topics, content, and ideas. Jeff and Ryan discuss the digital media space and all of its aspects. It's about making the mistakes, taking the chances, summoning the intestinal fortitude to step out of your comfort zone, and discovering what you can accomplish when you decide to try, decide to learn, decide that you have something to say, and find your frequency. Live Fridays at 12 noon Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Variety Channel.
We're making it easier to listen to the Voice America Talk Radio Network wherever you go. In addition to listening live, you can check out information about your favorite talk show hosts, discover new talk show personalities, add shows to your list of favorites, and listen to all of our show archives on demand, all from your iOS, Amazon Kindle, or Android device. Download it from the Apple App Store, Amazon, or Google Play, and get ready to tune in. The Voice America mobile app, powered by Aircast.
You are tuned in to Soul Healing Conversations. If you would like to reach Roz Kincaid or her guest today, please call into the program at 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. You may also send an email to hello@rozkincaid.com. Now, back to Soul Healing Conversations.
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Roz Kincaid on Soul Healing Conversations on Voice America Variety Channel. Just before the break, I was sharing my story. I had gotten into how I found Reiki and how that kind of led into me finding my spiritual gifts. And if you're just now joining, what I was talking about before we broke is that my Reiki practitioner was suggesting to me to learn Reiki, use it for myself, use it to heal my baby. I was going to be having a C-section. And, well, I didn't think I was, but they were like, no, you having a C-section. I'm like, no. And so I was talking to Reiki about Reiki to a friend of mine. And she said, well, the lady who did the group reading for us, she teaches Reiki, and she's having a Reiki certification course coming up pretty soon. You should check it out. Y'all see how they just set me up? You see how Spirit just set me up to do this? I can't be mad. I love it. So I end up connecting with Celeste Woods, who is local to the Manassas area as well. I take her Reiki 1, 2, and 3 certification courses, but it was during the Reiki level 1 and 2. It was over a weekend, and by this time I'm maybe 5, 6 months pregnant. I was showing pretty well, so I'm learning Reiki, and we're practicing on everyone during the practice time, and. And she turns around, Celeste turns around to me, and it's like she whipped her whole body around and says, did you name the baby Aaliyah? Aaliyah? I said, yes, Elijah. She said, oh my God. She said, I can hear her talking to me. And she just goes on and on and on about Elijah. And I am completely floored, y'all, because what Celeste didn't know is that I've been hearing a baby talking to me. I've been the whole pregnancy. Even before that, I've been hearing this little girl talking to me. And so she's, goes into this whole thing about she's going to be great. She's going to be awesome. She's beautiful. She looks just like you. She's going to be sassy, which she is. And then some. And so we have a break, right? I have a break. I go to the bathroom and I begin to tell my child, stop telling people your name. Stop telling people your name. And she says to me, y'all, I kid you not. I hear this baby talking to me in a little girl's voice and says, why not, mommy? People need to know who I am. Now, I don't know what God has in store for this little girl, but it is big. For her to talk to me from my womb and tell me that people need to know her name, I took that seriously. And I wasn't gonna let anybody or any person or any skeptic tell me that I did not hear my own child talk to me. Say what you want, but I know what I heard. Okay. So I get back from break and Celeste starts to kind of not drill me, but kind of test my gifts. And she says, do you see spirit? Do you feel chills? Do you hear things? Do you hear voices that aren't your voices? Do you see, things out of the corner of your eye? All of that. I confirmed. Absolutely, I do. Been seeing it for a while and just didn't know that, that I was supposed to be seeing it, or, I just kind of brushed it off. She says, oh, I need to get my hands on you. And I let her. I let her get her hands on me. And y'all, from there, I was on fire. I wanted to take up every class and I wanted to learn everything that this woman knew. Not this woman, but I wanted to learn everything that Celeste could teach me because, once again, curiosity, the fascination of it all. And then it became, oh my God, I have something here. This is great. I can help somebody. I can help people who are grieving. I can heal people who are hurting. I can communicate with those who have passed away and bring a message through to help somebody through their process, to, heal their heartbreak, to, reconcile, to make whatever the case may be. I just knew that I wanted to heal. I wanted to help people heal, whether that was from me putting my hands on them, me telepathically, speaking to their spirit, to their soul, or connecting with their guides, angels, and loved ones, and bringing in a message that would serve as a balm for them to heal. I knew that I wanted to do it. This wasn't like me doing Amway. This wasn't me doing Mary Kay, and nothing against that, but sales aren't my thing. I'm not trying to sell you a dream. I'm trying to get you right. That is my purpose. That is why God has given me this gift, so that you can be inspired to be better, to do better. # do better. And so I spent the better part of a couple of years, 3 years maybe, figuring out how to be a wife. Still a wife. Figuring out how to be a mom. Figuring out, what am I going to do with this gift? Shit, I got to tell people. Like, I can't do this work and nobody know. Like, how is anybody, I got to tell somebody. And then the ego kicks up again. The voices in my head saying, they're going to think you crazy. They're going to think you're a witch, which is nothing wrong. Listen, I'm cool with witches. Do you, whatever works for you, I'm cool with it. So the self-judgment begins to come back again, right? It all comes back. And for months, Celeste is like, you got to come out of the closet, man. You got to come out of the closet. You are too powerful to keep what you have under a shade. And my good girlfriend, Nancy, said the same thing. You got to come out of the closet. You got to tell people, stop putting a shade on your light. Stop shading your light. People need to see your light. And that message would continue even up until maybe a couple of months ago. People need you. People need your light. And I still struggle with, my gift, this is me, sharing it with people and, all of that and, drawing attention to myself. But when I'm in it, I'm in it. And Spirit continues to send me people that need my flavor of help. Because there are a million of us out here doing pretty much the same work, but in a different flavor. And so it was a Sunday. Because typically for Sundays, our family usually gets together for dinner. We have a big family. And I told my husband, I said, I think I'm going to tell him. I don't know how they're going to respond, but I think I'm going to tell them. And my ears are ringing right now. And so I sat my family down, my mama, my aunt, my uncle, my husband, all of them. This was after I had Toots, after I had Elijah. I sat them down and I said, y'all, I haven't just been going to meditation circles all this time. I've kind of been developing a gift that I didn't know I had until I was pregnant. And I just dropped a bomb on them, what I thought was a bomb. I said, I'm a psychic. I'm a medium. I can communicate with people from the other side. I said, I have healing power in my hands. I can heal people. God has enabled me to heal people. And I'm tired of hiding it. And you all are the safest people for me to tell first. And I want to tell you. I say that. And they all lean in and like, well, what can you tell me about me? And I was like, well, shit, this ain't as bad as I thought it was. It was a warm reception. I psyched myself up into believing that because what some forms of religion or, had taught me, I projected that onto the ones that were closest to me. And boy, did they prove me wrong. My family has been the most supportive of what I do. I love them all. And I appreciate them supporting me through all of this. And so that is how I became who I am. And so I hope that encourages all of you to just step out there, man. Step out there and, just don't dip your toe in the water. If you feel the pull to do something great, if you feel like you have some type of gift and you don't know how to develop it, develop it. Get out there. Once again, ask for the help. I'm here. There are all types of great resources to help you develop and help you to get to the dream, whatever that looks like for you. And so we only have a few minutes left in the show. I don't know if we have any calls waiting on the line, but I did get an email question from Mary L. And I wanted to get to it because I promised her I would say it on the air today. And she is saying that she found that most of her time and energy was spent supporting her husband's career and raising her children, but they no longer need her. And she's interested in how she finds her happy again. She gave up too much of her power and not sure where her own interests lie. And my advice is to go back to your youth. Go back to your childhood. Go back to what it was that made you jump on the inside. What is it that made you happy when you were a girl or when you were a young boy? What was it that gave you that drive? Start there. Start writing down your dreams. Start writing down your aspirations. Don't judge them. I don't care how big they are, because faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. And when you tell God your plan, trust me, he is Johnny on the spot. He will make it happen. Absolutely. So I hope that answered Mary's question. And I hope that you all were inspired by my story. I hope that you all enjoyed the show today. I do again want to shout out our sponsor, Emily and Shine Coaching. And I just want to thank you all for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Come back next week when we dive into the topic of energy, all things energy. if you all want to work with me one-on-one, you can reach out to me at rozkincaid.com or hello@rozkincaid.com. You can also connect with me one-on-one at Soul Healing with Roz on Facebook and Instagram. And it was a pleasure. I hope, again, that this kind of gave you a sense of who I am, kind of gave you my vibe. I hope you guys are vibing with me because it's going to be a nice ride. This is just day one. And I truly, truly appreciate your support. I appreciate you tuning in for today. Come back next week. Let's have this conversation about energy. I want to give you guys some information to be able to move forward to the next level and get rooted, y'all. Stay connected and experience the transformation. Until next week.
Thank you again for listening to Soul Healing Conversations. Please join Roz Kincaid again for another program next Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Variety Channel. We'll talk again next week.